From the age of 16,
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
the chemical of reward, motivation, and satisfaction. Let me try to explain it this way. Imagine your brain's satisfaction system is a glass. For a neurotypical person, a good conversation, a walk in the park, finishing a task at work, these things pour a little bit of satisfaction liquid into the glass. At the end of the day, the glass is reasonably full and you feel a sense of contentment. Now, imagine your brain is not a glass. It's a giant, cavernous bucket. Those same pleasant events, they pour in, but the liquid barely covers the bottom. You spend your entire life with a nagging, persistent feeling of being underfilled. You feel thirsty. You're bored when others are content. You're restless when others are calm. You compulsively seek out more intense experiences, not because you're reckless, but because you're just trying to feel the same level of full that other people seem to get for free. And for a brain like that, alcohol was the perfect, cursed cocktail. It is a highly dopaminergic substance, meaning it was the fire hose that could finally fill that bucket to the brim. It gave me that surge of stimulation and novelty my brain craved, while at the very same time, its sedative effects calmed the crippling social anxiety that came with feeling so different from everyone else. It was a magic potion. It allowed me to function in a world that, to my sober brain, felt simultaneously excruciatingly boring and profoundly terrifying. So when I quit, when I took away the one thing that made it all bearable, the first thing that hit me wasn't a sense of virtuous relief. It was a tidal wave of boredom. A grey, flat, monotonous landscape where everything had the volume turned down to 1. And in that deafening silence, I started to hear some very uncomfortable truths. In the slow, grinding months of early sobriety, as the fog began to lift, I had a realization. The feeling I had been chasing all those years, the feeling I had labeled as fun, wasn't fun at all. It was excitement. And those two things are not the same. Fun is connection, contentment, laughter, presence. Excitement is just noise. It's intensity. It's a chemical spike. And my entire social life had been built on a foundation of chemical spikes. This led me to a truth so harsh and so simple, it felt like a physical blow. If you don't enjoy someone or something while you are sober, then you don't actually like that person or that thing, period. The alcohol isn't enhancing the experience, the alcohol is the experience. You're not enjoying their company, you're enjoying the feeling of a substance in your brain while they happen to be in the room. And as I started to tentatively re-engage with my old life, sober, I had to face the devastating reality that most of it was a lie, an alcohol-fueled mirage. The friendships built over countless late nights at the bar, the hobbies that were inseparable from drinking, the very personality I projected in social situations, it all just evaporated. The me that was witty and outgoing and adventurous in those moments wasn't the real me. It was a chemical performance, and I had no idea who the real me even was. It's a strange thing to mourn a life you didn't even realize was a performance. But there I was, standing in the rubble of my own social mirage with no idea who I was supposed to be. Have you ever had that sobering moment, pun intended, where you realized a friendship or activity was just an alcohol-fueled mirage? Share your story in the comments. I want to read them. But the collapse of my social life was nothing compared to the next thing that changed. This was the one that shook me to my core. My entire life, from my first job to my last relationship, I was a textbook commitment phobe. I couldn't commit to a city for more than a couple of years. I couldn't commit to a career path. I started and abandoned new business projects so often that my hard drive was a graveyard of half-finished websites and forgotten logos. I was launching new brands more often than I changed my socks. And my romantic life? A complete disaster. I dated dozens of wonderful women, but the moment a relationship started to feel serious, to feel permanent, an internal alarm would go off and I would find a reason to run. I had a passport full of stamps, but a life empty of anchors. I always assumed this was some deep psychological flaw. I spent years in therapy, trying to excavate some childhood trauma that must have been the root cause of my inability to stay put. It had to be something deep, something profound. But after a year of sobriety, a new theory started to form, a much simpler and frankly more terrifying one. What if it wasn't that deep? What if I couldn't commit to anything simply because, to a brain on a dopamine roller coaster, commitment isn't satisfying? Commitment is, by its nature, the opposite of novelty. It's about depth, not breadth. It's about returning to the same thing day after day and finding meaning in the repetition. For a brain conditioned to need constant, escalating hits of novelty and excitement just to feel normal, the slow, quiet burn of commitment provides almost no reward. So my brain, in its desperate search for dopamine, would always choose the thrill of the new over the quiet satisfaction of the old. It wasn't a character flaw, it was a neurological imperative. And now, after 500 days sober, the craziest thing has happened. The thing that I can only describe as a polar opposite reality. I am now in a place where I almost don't see the point of doing anything that doesn't involve commitment. It is the most profound, fundamental reversal of my entire personality I have ever experienced. My brain has healed. The dopamine receptors have renormalized. And for the first time in my life, I can experience the deep, lasting pleasure that comes from long-term investment. The quiet joy of adding one brick to a wall, day after day, and watching it slowly become a cathedral. This feeling, this satisfaction, is now more rewarding to me than any fleeting thrill ever was.
And when you can finally derive pleasure from commitment itself, you start seeking it out everywhere. So what happens when you combine more time, more mental clarity, and this newfound desire for deep, long-term commitment? You get the biggest productivity boost imaginable. Look, I've tried all the hacks. I'm a child of the internet. I've done the 5 a.m. morning routines, the journaling, the meditation apps, the ice baths, the saunas. I've spent years tinkering with productivity systems, trying to squeeze out an extra 5% of efficiency. It was like I was constantly decorating the walls of a house whose foundation was crumbling. I was polishing the brass on the Titanic.
Let me be clear. Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, comes even close to the power of a highly functioning metabolism, a great night's sleep every single night, and a genuine, soul-deep excitement to work on something for the long term. This is the ultimate unhack. All those years I spent trying to optimize my life, I was simultaneously pouring a depressant neurotoxin into my system 150 times a year. The amount of energy my body and mind had to expend just to get back to a baseline of okay was colossal. Productivity wasn't about building things, it was a desperate daily battle against a self-inflicted hangover, against brain fog, against low-grade anxiety. Now that entire battle is just gone. The energy is freed up, the focus is effortless. And the desire to apply that focus to something meaningful is overwhelming. The productivity I have now isn't something I have to hack. It's the natural, default state of a brain that is no longer at war with itself. And this leads to the central paradox of this new life. My life is now, by all external measures, boring. I do the same few things almost every day. I wake up, I write, I exercise, I spend time with the person I love, I read, I go to sleep. My social circle has shrunk dramatically. I see fewer people, but I feel more connected. I have fewer exciting nights out, but I have infinitely more fun. This is the great secret. This repetitive, simple, boring life is the most content, the most satisfying, and the most genuinely fun I have ever had. It's a weird thing to realize that half the things you did for fun your entire life weren't actually fun. It's a full-blown identity crisis. You have to grieve the person you thought you were. But unlike before, I find I'm patient with my future. I don't mind being bored. In fact, I'm starting to enjoy it. That quiet space, that lack of desperate stimulus, that's where the real work gets done. That's where you finally get to meet yourself. Quitting alcohol isn't about giving something up. It was never about the alcohol. It's about discovering who you are, what you truly enjoy, and what you're capable of when you finally stop running away from the silence. It's about discovering the person who has been waiting patiently for you to come home. If this story resonated, and you want more brutally honest explorations of a meaningful life,
The single best way to support this journey is to subscribe to the channel. A like on the video also tells the algorithm that conversations like this matter. And let's be real, conversations this honest can be fragile. This video could disappear tomorrow, so if it meant something to you, do yourself a favor and save it.